And then it just came to me. Hijab or no hijab? I'm really that big. Assalamu alaikum. Hola, assalamu alaikum. My name is Delaney Fana, and this is Fana Talks, where I center our conversations on the emotional and psychological dimensions of our everyday lives. Thank you so much for tuning back in to another episode of Fana Talks. Well, I will be diving into so many things that I've learned during this Ramadan. Alhamdulillah, there's been so many revelations. I'm not going to share too much, but I will share certain points that I feel like will be really helpful for people who are either reverting, non-Muslim, or people who were born Muslim and can also relate to these kind of topics too. So many things has happened since Ramadan. So Ramadan was from February 17th, 18th until March 19th, and Eid was on the 20th. And it's so interesting to see how much I've changed in a year, or how much can change in a year. Because I remember my first Ramadan being an extremely emotional Ramadan. It was really cathartic. It was needed, but I was very melancholic. I was just very much in my feelings. I was sad. I was depressed. I was just going through a really huge shedding. But alhamdulillah, this Ramadan was so fruitful. And it being my second Ramadan, 2 also being one of my favorite numbers as well, got it added on me. I was so grateful. Like, I still am so very grateful for the things that I received, the things that did not come my way. But just to see how abundant my life is, like, man, like fasting opens up so many things, and it's such a really eye-opening experience. And you do become spiritually sensitive to it. I'm going to stop saying you become. I'm going to say me, because this is my personal experience. So I become spiritually sensitive during this time in Ramadan. So I'm a lot more careful with who I spend my time with, what I do, what I say no to, what I say yes to. And I've been just protecting my time a lot. So that's one point that I feel has definitely helped me, is saying no, when to say no and when to say yes. And in that is great power, because I used to be someone who would say yes all the time, or even try to fit any and everything in my schedule for other people, and just stretching myself too thin. But those days are long gone. She's no longer here anymore. And I'm so happy for myself, because saying no has been so powerful. Saying no has been very fun. This Ramadan was so much fun, and I'm still having so much fun. I am still fasting because there is a 6-day window. I believe it's called Shawwal. Correct me if I'm wrong, anybody who is more educated on this. Shawwal is the first 6 days that, or the days that follow Ramadan. And they say that if you fast for these 6 days, whether it's consecutive or sporadic, like you skip a day or two, it's equivalent to fasting for a whole year. And I don't remember my point, but I'm just going to continue flowing. Oh, yeah. Saying no, saying yes. Yes, protecting my time. Yes. So during this time, as I was fasting, a lot has come up for me in terms of like my boundaries. So unfortunately, I've had situations where I had to just break people's hearts, not romantically, but saying no to people that were very used to me saying yes. And it felt really good. Like, it felt like, yeah, duh, Delaney, like, yes, you can say no. Like, no one is, holding you hostage. You were holding yourself hostage, you know? But alhamdulillah, though, I handle all things with grace. And through time, like, it's definitely gotten easier. So that's one revelation that I feel, has benefited me and is still, something that I'm applying. So another revelation I feel is really important for me was being shy compared to being bold. And of course, I'm going to choose the being bold one. And a lot of the prompts or like revelations that I'm going to be sharing is more so just like in comparison of each other. So the first one was saying yes compared to saying no, or saying no compared to saying yes. And this one is being shy compared to being bold. And so being shy, I've noticed that that's definitely a mask that I no longer want to wear. And I also realize and pick up on when I am being shy and why. Like, what is the energy around me? I tend to realize that it's usually not my energy. So I rebuke it, because your girl's not shy. Like, she's definitely a talker. She be yapping. She has a lot to say. She just acts aloof. Like, I act aloof sometimes. And I don't like that I do that, because I'm much wiser than what I come off as. And being bold has opened up so many opportunities for me in creating more authentic spaces for myself, right? And just being yourself and being that daring, authentic, bold version of you, it's healthier. Like, for me, I find that it's healthier for me, because when I was younger, I used to be very expressive. I used to just not care. I used to just be like, just very feral. And I'm still very feral too. She's just in an adult form. So she not out here just saying things like, that's off the dome. I'm not doing that. Not all the time. But I am speaking my mind a lot more, and I am getting out of my own way a lot more. And when I tell you it feels so freeing and liberating, like, I wish, inshallah, everyone can feel this sense of high and euphoric wavelength, because it's so beautiful. Alhamdulillah, it's so beautiful. And what's another thing that has opened up for me? Yeah, opportunities in creating more authentic relationships and authenticity with myself. And then also just standing up more for myself. In one of my previous episodes, I kind of spoke about my inner child, like, finally being able to rest and just play in the field of daffodils. And while that is true, the adult Delaney is stepping up to the plate a lot more, where if I really don't like something, I'm going to be bold enough to say it, even in spaces where people are just taking it and just settling. That's one thing with me that it irritates me to the core of my soul to be around things like that, because I embody so much truth and I can just sense it. I can sense when things are not real. I could just sense when things are not truthful. I could just sense it. And people are just settling around me. And like, granted, everyone is on their own journey, right? But for me, I've passed that already. I'm like, okay, like, what is it that we're really doing? Like, we all know that this is not something that we like, but no one is talking about it. Like in situations like that, I'm 99.99999% the one to speak up. And it's been great. It's been really great. It's been really freeing. It's been showing me a lot about my leadership skills. Because I've always been a leader, you know, in my own way. But my voice, oh my God, my voice has been amplified in so many different ways. And adult Delaney is making sure that she's being heard in healthy ways. Not like, oh my God, hear me, like see me. Like, no, that's inner child. Delaney is, I said what I said and I meant what I said. Point blank, period. Whether you agree with it or not, that's up to you. Inshallah, the message will get crossed. But to each his own. So yeah, man, that has been really cool to experience that with myself. And then okay. And then also in Ramadan, or just in fasting, the practice of fasting, I definitely see a lot more. Well, I see clear on my habits and my ways of being in my everyday life. So your life in Ramadan is not just, this is how I am during Ramadan. No. That's how you are in life. Like, so if you, are like, have some self-doubt, which artist and creator doesn't, fasting really puts that mirror on that trait and is like, okay, like, are you going to continue to have self-doubt when that paintbrush is literally sitting right in front of you? Or are you going to take action and actually execute? Because you have the vision, but are you going to choose different this time around? Because Allah just wants us to be happy, and for us to get out of our own way. And with that, we have all these resources, we have all these tools, and I think that we're really powerful. And in Ramadan, this Ramadan specifically, I saw my power. And with the fasting, with the power of fasting, it has opened up so many portals as to what I can do, my capability of, what happens when I am truly aligned. And in that alignment comes with speaking the truth and embodying my truth and then executing. Because the execution, that's when things become like, okay, like legendary, like you're really about your shit, So yeah, this Ramadan, it showed me, okay, like this is just showing me a mirror of what I do on the everyday life. So, okay, how can I shift? What ways of being am I being right now? And how much greater can it get? I would always speak to Allah. I'll be like, yo, like God, like Allah, show me how great it can get. Not good. Show me how great it can get. Every single day, just showing gratitude and literally speaking to Allah like my best friend. I consider Allah man and woman, like my parent, mom and dad. So I'd have like, little FaceTime calls with him, 2:00 in the morning. Speak to her when I have certain, doubts come up, and, that kind of relationship and that kind of connection doesn't just come from, nothing. It comes with just listening, and just staying really present with our bodies and, with my body and with my mind. And I don't know where else I was going with this, but just flowing. And yeah, that connection definitely strengthened for me, because I was just able to see that power, the more that I just stay intentional with what is it that I want to call in? And wallah, when you put an intention before fasting, whoa, okay, so let's say, for example, your intention to fast during Ramadan or the next 3 days is to, ¿cómo se dice? Get better at painting or receive a opportunity that, you've always wanted. Like, just being very specific on the intention and what you want to call in. I found that writing it down, not just writing it down on paper, but writing it down like a couple of times and reading it every single day, even in times when you don't want to, it comes to you like that. Like, it's literal magic. That's why they say that words, are very powerful, and the power of the tongue and spelling, casting, writing it down. Oh my God. I've written certain things down and then a couple days later, I'm like, I don't know how this happened, but the intention put into your fast is also very powerful. Because I believe you just can't do anything without intention. The intention of this podcast is to speak on the emotional and psychological dimensions of our everyday lives. And so whatever comes up will be through that intention. The space that I create for myself, the space I create for people, all of it is very intentional. So yeah, alhamdulillah, my intentions have been accepted, which I'm really, really grateful for, because I also realized that, I have prayed for a couple of things and just, in my past situations of just wanting ease or craving ease in certain situations in my life. And I found that it just was not working. I'm like, what is happening? Like, I'm doing the prayer, what's happening a lot? I thought you were my bestie. But it just wasn't getting accepted at some point. And then, not that I started to question Allah, because astaghfirullah, never. But I just started to question myself, like, okay, you say that you're doing the right thing, but what is it that is in your ways of being and ways of thinking that is not in alignment with what it is that you're calling in or trying to call in? So I had to change, literally, like surrender to, and not just surrender, but giving up something that is in your daily life or something that you're comfortable and used to. Because if you want better, you got to do better. And when you know better, you do better. So if you're being called to do something bigger than, where you are right now, certain things got to change, and that's something that that I got to sit with this Ramadan, is the responsibility that comes with being a legend. It's a lot of responsibility, but I love it and I wouldn't trade it for anything. So, oh my gosh, I'm just so excited for what is to come. And another thing that this year of just turning 26 is showing me is adulting. Like, adulting, I hear so many different things with adulting. And like I said, I'm speaking from my own experience from what adulting is to me. Pero adulting is fun. Like, it sounds really crazy, right? Because a lot of it is like, there's always something to pay. There's always a bill to, take care of. It's always something. But I kind of find that fun. Like, I find it fun, like, when there's always something to look forward to, even if it's like stressful in the moment, even if it's not something that you thought, or if it's like just a curveball, you're like, oh my God, like I would have never expected. I literally find those things invigorating. Like, I find it so interesting that we're just la-di-da-di-da, just like walking and minding our business, thinking that, all things are good. And then bam, like something random happens on a Tuesday. like your shoe fall off in the train track or something. Like, I don't know, something funny. And it's like, okay, now onto a new mission. Like Mario, like, how am I going to get the shoe in the train track without getting hit by the train? That was like kind of a really bad example, but I'm just saying, like, it's all a game, you know? And the more that I've been looking at life like that, it's been so funny. Cause I'm like, yo, like, Allah has such a like funny sense of humor. Like, one thing that is funny, right, is I used to pray for patience, but I know that I was really craving ease. So I started praying for ease during my daily routine and like my duties and everything that I had to do. I was just praying for ease. And I remember when I was praying for patience, I was getting situations that would trigger me and test my patience. Duh, because you're praying for patience, you're gonna get situations in your life that are gonna test your patience and your threshold. Potato. So that shift also happened with that. So anything that comes my way, I know is from Allah. Even if it's left field, even if it's something that I'm like, what? Like, I would have never expected. I know it's from Allah. There's some lesson in that. There's some blessing in it. And with that, you know, there's just a lot of abundance that comes with that, you know? And I like to be optimistic on life, you know, and like I said, in adulting, because everybody got something going on, you know? And it's kind of like that meme of it's like a picture of someone, or it's like a drawing of someone, or there's two guys sitting on the bus or train or something, and then the guy on the left is like looking down in the window and he's like, oh my God, like everything is shit in my life. And then the guy on the right side of the paper is like, oh my God, everything is shit in my life. So it's just a mindset thing, you know, and the way that you look at life depends on how simple your life can be. Because I find that life can be simple. And I think life is simple. I just think that a lot of us overcomplicate it, you know, and stress about things that, you know, it's very fixable, or there's solutions to it. And granted, there may not be solutions to everything, you know. This is not me just being aloof in that. I'm very aware that there's things that are like, okay, this is just not it. But majority of the time, I feel that us as humans, we stress ourselves out, and we really don't need to be, you know. So another thing that I came to revelation with during Ramadan is, hold on. No accountability, making excuses, compared to accountability and just owning up to what you've done, or, you know, your situation in life. And I think that's the sexiest thing about adulting, because it's like, you don't have anybody to blame but yourself as to why you didn't wake up at a certain time, because your ass was in the bed at 2:00 in the morning and you had to wake up at 6:00, but you really woke up at 8:00. Whose fault is it? I don't know. I'm just saying sleep schedules need to be revised and looked at a little bit, you know? I noticed that with myself, that I would try to blame it on something other than the fact that I would prioritize like other things as to either why I wasn't like on time for something or why I couldn't do something. Pero it was a lot, and that's, draining. Just doing the thing that you say you're going to do and being in integrity with that is a lot simpler than trying to either blame something else, blame someone else. Because at the end of the day, it's still not done, or you still didn't get there on time. So you're still being, looked at, your ways of being and your traits, because time management, that was something that I noticed. And then the accountability thing, like, listen, there's places where I should be, places where I feel like I should be or want to be, but it's going to take a lot more of my drive and passion and discipline to get to that place, with the love of Allah, and the guidance of that, and just listening, prioritizing things that are necessary and that need to be prioritized. Yeah, the accountability thing was a really big thing for me. And not was it hard, because it's not hard for me to be like, okay, yeah, that's my fault. I acknowledge that. And now moving forward, I decree and declare that I will stay in integrity to myself before anybody else, for anybody else, to myself. That's one thing that I loved that Ramadan showed me, because the more I took accountability for where I was and for where I was, is now taking me to where I am going. And where I'm going, it's looking very fruitful. Alhamdulillah, I'm so grateful. Like I said, I'm only sharing with what I feel comfortable with sharing, with revelations that came up in Ramadan. So what has come to me will happen in the guidance of Allah. And you guys are just going to see. That's all I'm going to say with that. I do want to end off with just some grounding affirmations for people. This is just what is flowing naturally as I paint. So if you could, as I do like my last couple of strokes, if you can place one hand on your heart and one hand on your solar, your sacral, whichever one feels called to you. We're going to take 3 deep breaths, and we're going to expand our bellies like a balloon and exhale out of our mouths. So deep breath in. Deep breath out. 2. And 3. And in this moment, with your eyes closed, feel how beautiful your heartbeat feels. Creating space for no judgment, just presence in your body and out of your mind. Try to bring to your mind a color and how you are feeling. Try to bring to your mind the emotion that color brings you. And just sit with how that color makes you feel. Try to envision the color, if it's a tint, if it's light, or if it's a shade, if it's a dark color. Just sit with it. If it swirls, if it's just a bulb of light, just sit with it. And take one deep breath in. And release. And with all these revelations, all this information, and all this excitement that was in this episode, may you take this color with you each and every day to stay grounded, stay deeply rooted in yourself and in your sovereignty. May Allah bring you ease, bring you love, and grounding. Thank you so much for tapping in with me for another episode of Fana Talks. And I'm going to reveal my painting. She's really, really cute. Don't know what it is, but this is just what flowed out. So this was actually my color as well. As I was meditating, I saw green, and that's the heart space. So thank you so much for tapping in.